What's going on, guys? Coach Matt and YouGoProBaseball.com here again with Brent Porcio, Top Velocity, and we're going to talk about something a little different today. We're going to talk about catchers' pop time and how to improve your pop time, get you down as low as a 1.6 possibly, and stop those base stealers in their tracks. In fact, we were just talking before the video, your average major league base runner is getting from first to second base in 3.3 to 3.4 seconds. So if you're a pitcher who's throwing 1.3 or below to your catcher, that means that your catcher has to be 2.0 or below. But that's what? Just to the glove, right?
Right, and then you got to make the tag. So we're just trying to figure out, like, what's a good amount of time to have as a pop time for a catcher to where you're really confident that you're going to get every runner out, right? I know we're looking at the major league level at 3.3, but that should be a good standard, right? Because if we're looking to play at the next level, a lot of those major league standards is what sets the tone or sets the metrics for a lot of scouts. So how do we get to that sub 2.0? And we hear that a lot, right? Sub 2.0 is something of a pop time, would be a good pop time. But I think you probably need to go even lower, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we talked about before, that's to the glove. So if that runner's getting in 3.3, the middle infielder still has to apply the tag, and that's going to take some time. So.
Yeah, so think about it. If you got a pitcher who's really slow at like a 1.6, right, 1.7, now at your 2.0, you're not getting the major league runner out. So you want to be able to not be in a position to where if you have a slow pitcher that day, you can't throw anybody out. So let's say we've got that 1.7 guy. Now you got to get somewhere to a 1.7, 1.8, 1.7, because now I'm getting a better chance of getting that average 3.3 runner out. So we want to go through what steps can we do coming out of the squat position, receiving the ball as a catcher, to put us in a position, an advantageous position every time to get a runner out, no matter what the pitcher's delivering to us. So we're going to just break it down. Like, what are some key things that we can do to really cut down the pop times? And the studies show, and you really, that's my take into this, my perspective in this, is I'm a biomechanist, so I've studied the biomechanics and looked at the medical journals, and what the medical journals are saying are the best ways, or what's really correlating to a decrease in time to release. So one of the ones right up front is how quickly you get out of your squat positions. That has the highest correlation in pop times, or getting your ball to the bag. And once again, because that's going to make your time to release shorter. But here's the challenge for catchers. Once we release the ball, there's time from release to the second baseman or the shortstop to the bag. That's going to also be affected by velocity. So catchers are always stuck balancing two things: the time it takes them to release the ball and the time it takes them to get the ball to the bag. So the velocity obviously would cut that time down. But the problem is, if you really look at how biomechanics affect velocity, to really build more velocity on your throws, you have to take more time biomechanically. So that's the challenge in what we're weighing here, is how do I move as quick as I can after receiving the ball to release, but put as much velocity on the ball so I can cut down the time from release to the bag. So we're going to always have that in the back of the mind. When we're trying to shorten our time to release, is that going to really take away from my velocity? Because it's a balance here. And a lot of times it's just testing. When I take a little longer and something of like hip to shoulder separation, did that overall decrease my pop time or increase my pop time? Because, yeah, maybe I threw harder, but I just took too long. That's something you're going to have to always test. But going back to getting out of your squat position, having such a high correlation to your pop-to-pop time, it's because, once again, that's probably where you can be the slowest. Just trying to get up off the ground. A lot of athletes, those that aren't as good of athletes, are going to have a real hard time getting off the ground, and that's where a lot of their time is going to be. It's kind of like a sprinter. Your first step is so important to your overall speed, because that's where most guys, less explosive athletes, take a lot of time to get out of that position. So I think we're not going to go into detail on like things we can do here. We're just going to talk about the points that you need to get better at to really get to that 1.6 pop time. So you need to work on getting more explosive out of your squat position, and we have a whole video on that. And then from there, once you get out of your squat position, you're going to have to get better at organizing your body to sequence that energy that you generated off the ground coming up, to deliver that energy to the ball. So you're going to have to get better at when you moving your feet into your front foot position, cocking your arms, separating your shoulders, sequencing through your hip, trunk, and arm to do that as quick as you can, but at the same time too, trying to get as much of that energy you've just created off the ground into the ball. That's going to be another key thing, which we will cover in more videos, more of the details of that. And then from there, it's making an accurate throw. Because like John and I, we were talking about where you could, if the pitcher's slow at a 1.6 and you're coming out at a 1.8, but your throw's off, now that's extra time to get to the bat. So you also have to make a good throw. And then precision's going to be a part of that. So when you're in your delivery trying to speed things up to release without losing a lot of velocity, you're also got to be focusing on the precision of release to make a good throw to the bag. So I don't want to go in details because we're going to do some videos where we'll go into details, but I think those are some really key things that they can do to shorten the amount of time that they have with the ball to get to the bag, to work with the pitcher, to be able to get under that 3-3, 3-4 base stealing. You see anything I missed or anything else?
No, I think the biggest takeaway that you guys should have is probably finding that balance, right? You know, finding how quick it is. Main thing, being an athlete, getting out of there explosive enough, but how much are you going to, energy are you going to try to create, and how long does it take you to create that energy to release that ball?
Yeah, because here's an example, like hip to shoulder separation really allows us to harness more energy and deliver it, meaning as your hips are going forward, your shoulders load back, and that allows us to harness and store up more core energy, more arm energy at the end. But the problem is when I do that, it takes more time. You know, you get into what a lot of coaches say, that catcher has too long of an arm, right? A lot of them want you to be in the short arm positions. There's some validity to that, but once again, if there's velo back here, which would help decrease time out of hand, we want to get it, but we don't want to take all day to get it. So that's like a good example of if you're trying to get more velo by really raring back here, yeah, now you're throwing 80 miles an hour to the bag, but it took you, 6 milliseconds longer, and the 3 milliseconds you improved on your velocity, you actually got worse.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge. That's why I believe testing it. Test it when you separate more. Does it help or does it hurt? Now, and understand, yeah, you put a radar to it. I threw harder, but it took longer. So understand how your velo and what you do to get velo affects the overall time you're taking to get the ball to the bag. That's the important thing, and you could journal that. Man, when I really go back, I throw harder, but I lose overall time. Or there's a perfect spot I hit when I close my shoulders, and I get decent velo, but I get great time, and that's where you find your sweet spot.
That's a great point. Guys, I have another great video for you on catching that I want to share with you if you're an aspiring catcher to lower your pop time, just being an all-around better catcher. I'll leave a link down below where you can get that video for free. Just click on the link. It's going to take you to a page where you enter your first name and your email. Go ahead and enter that, and I'll shoot you over right to that video. In fact, Brent has a whole program now on this stuff.
Sub 2.0.
The
Sub 2.0.
Catching mechanics and everything that you need to lower your pop time. So I'll put that in the description as well if you're interested to check that one out. And again, we've got some more videos coming here on catching on YouTube, so check them out. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell, and we'll see you in the next one.